A recent study from Harvard showed this. Just 30 minutes of light exercise a day can cut your risk of heart disease by nearly 1/3. 1/3. Imagine that. And yet, most seniors still believe the safest thing they can do is rest. Sit down. Take it easy. Don't strain the heart. But here's the truth. Stillness can be more dangerous than movement. You see, after the age of 60, your blood vessels begin to lose flexibility. It's subtle, quiet. It doesn't scream for attention. It just gets harder to go upstairs. Your feet stay cold longer. Your hands get tingly. You feel like you're slowing down, and you blame age. But what if it's not just age? What if your arteries, the highways of life running through your body, are slowly narrowing, quietly stiffening, and you didn't even know it? The term for this is arterial stiffness, and it affects over 70% of adults past 60. That's not a small number. That's most of us. And it happens even in people with normal blood pressure. When your arteries stiffen, they stop expanding properly with every heartbeat. That means your heart has to work harder, your organs get less oxygen, and your risk of stroke or heart attack goes way up, even if you feel fine. But here's the best part. You can turn it around. You don't need a gym. You don't need fancy equipment. You just need to start moving the right way. Over the next few minutes, I'll walk you through 3 simple exercises that gently reopen blood flow, lower your pressure, and make your arteries more elastic again. These are movements I recommend to my patients, especially those who think they're too old to move. Because no, you're not too old. You're just waiting for someone to tell you how to move again, safely, gently, and powerfully. And if you're new here, welcome to the Senior Health Vision and Mind channel. I'm Dr. James Porter, and if this kind of practical, real-world advice speaks to you, consider subscribing. I'd love to keep helping you from here. Now, let's take that first step and see what your blood vessels have been waiting for. The most powerful medicine for your arteries is not a pill. It is not a surgery. It is something so simple, so overlooked, that most people walk away from it every day literally. I'm talking about walking. Brisk walking, that gentle rhythm of heel-to-toe movement, is one of the most effective natural therapies for stiff arteries and poor circulation, especially in older adults. Why? Because when you walk, something remarkable happens inside your body. With each step, your calf muscles contract and relax like a second heart. They squeeze your veins and push blood upward back to the heart against gravity. This boosts circulation in your lower body, improves oxygen delivery, and helps reduce swelling in the feet and legs. But walking does more than just move blood. It reconditions your arteries. When you move your body, your heart rate increases slightly. That increase in blood flow causes a gentle stretching of your artery walls. And just like muscles, your arteries respond to that stretch. They get stronger, more flexible, more open. This is called endothelial adaptation. The inner lining of your arteries starts to function better. It releases more nitric oxide, a natural molecule that relaxes the blood vessels. That means better flow, lower pressure, and less resistance in your circulatory system. And it doesn't take months to see a change. A clinical trial from the University of Colorado in 2021 followed a group of older adults who walked 30 minutes a day for just 6 weeks. The result? A 23% improvement in arterial compliance, meaning their arteries became more elastic and responsive to blood flow. Another study published in the Journal of the American Heart Association in 2019 showed that seniors who walked at least 150 minutes per week reduced their risk of major cardiovascular events by 31%, even without medication changes. This isn't theory. It is measurable biology. A retired piano teacher once told me she felt foggy every morning and needed to sit down after brushing her hair. She began stretching her spine and neck for 5 minutes before breakfast, breathing slowly through her nose. Within a week, she said her fingers felt warmer and her balance steadier. That is the power of microcirculation awakened. If you're wondering how to start, keep it simple. Every morning before breakfast, stand near a wall or sturdy chair. Raise both arms overhead. Inhale slowly through your nose for a count of 4. Hold that breath. Then exhale through your mouth as you reach gently to one side. Feel the ribs expand, the sides open, blood finding new space. Repeat the same movement in the opposite direction. Then roll the shoulders back, breathe again, and slowly rotate your head left and right, easing tension from the neck. No pain, no pressure, just gentle mobility. You're not forcing the body, you're inviting it. If you prefer the evening, that works too. Gentle stretching before bed can improve circulation to the brain and promote deeper sleep, especially when combined with diaphragmatic breathing. There's no race here, no numbers to hit. But over time, this slow and steady practice sends a powerful signal that your blood vessels are not stiff by default. They are waiting for breath, for softness, for space. And every time you stretch and breathe with purpose, you remind your body that flow is not just movement, it's restoration. And restoration is still possible. Walking is a beautiful beginning. But what if your knees are sensitive, your joints are stiff, or you simply want to activate your heart without stressing your body? That's where cycling steps in quietly, efficiently, and powerfully. Cycling, whether on a stationary bike at home or along a quiet park trail, is one of the most joint-friendly forms of cardiovascular exercise available. But for your arteries, it does something even more remarkable. Unlike walking, which relies heavily on gravity and vertical motion, cycling uses rotational movement. This allows your major muscle groups, especially your quadriceps, hamstrings, and glutes, to contract and relax in a continuous, circular rhythm. And every one of those contractions sends blood surging through your veins and arteries, improving overall flow without impact. But the real magic lies in what cycling does to your endothelium, the thin inner lining of your blood vessels. When you cycle, your heart rate gently increases, and with it, the shear stress on your vessel walls rises. This is not harmful stress. It is the kind your body needs, the kind that tells your arteries to adapt, open up, and respond. In response, your endothelial cells release more nitric oxide, the body's natural vessel relaxant. Nitric oxide reduces vascular resistance, lowers blood pressure, and improves the responsiveness of your arteries to each beat of your heart. Over time, this process reverses stiffness and supports arterial remodeling, especially in the legs and pelvic region, where blood flow often weakens first with age. One study from the University of Exeter in 2020 found that older adults who cycled for just 20 minutes a day, 5 days a week, showed significant improvements in flow-mediated dilation, a measure of how well blood vessels expand in response to increased flow. Another trial, published in Circulation Research in 2018, demonstrated that moderate cycling enhanced microvascular density, the formation of small blood vessels, particularly in the lower extremities. This means better oxygen delivery to muscles, faster recovery, and more energy throughout the day. For older adults, that translates into less fatigue, warmer extremities, improved mobility, and even better cognitive clarity. Unlike more intense aerobic exercise, cycling allows you to stay in a safe heart rate zone, especially if you're just starting out. You can adjust the intensity, keep your movement smooth, and avoid the pounding impact on your joints. And here's something few people realize. Cycling also improves venous return, the rate at which blood returns to the heart. This supports the work of your lower body veins, reduces fluid buildup, and helps prevent complications like varicose veins or leg swelling, which are common in older adults with circulation issues. If you've been sedentary for years, the idea of exercise may feel intimidating. But cycling doesn't have to be a race or a chore. It can be as simple as sitting upright on a stationary bike with a good seat, starting with 5 minutes, and listening to soft music or the morning news. Some people prefer cycling in the early evening, when the body is more warmed up and blood pressure naturally dips. Others enjoy the early morning calm. There's no perfect time. The key is simply to show up, let your legs move in rhythm, let your lungs fill deeply, and let your heart remember what it feels like to flow freely. Because when you pedal, you're not just moving your body. You're telling your arteries, gently but firmly, wake up. Open up. Keep going. And over time, they will. Not every vessel needs pressure to respond. Some only respond when we slow down. We talk a lot about movement, steps, sweat. But sometimes, what the circulatory system needs most is stillness with intention. Not inactivity, but mindful restoration. That's where stretching and deep breathing come in. And for older adults, this combination may be one of the most underused tools to support vascular health. When you stretch, you're not just loosening muscles, you're stimulating blood vessels embedded within the fascia and connective tissues. A gentle stretch triggers mechanical tension, which activates endothelial cells in the microcirculation, especially in hard-to-reach areas like the hips, shoulders, and lower back. At the same time, focused deep breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, your body's natural rest and restore mode. It slows the heart rate, lowers blood pressure, and reduces cortisol, a stress hormone that contributes to arterial inflammation and stiffness. These two systems, muscular and vascular, begin to sync. Each inhale expands the chest and allows more oxygen into the bloodstream. Each exhale stimulates the vagus nerve and calms vascular tone. Over time, this regulates vessel constriction, improves blood oxygenation, and reduces the burden on the heart. A study published in Hypertension Research in 2022 found that just 10 minutes of guided stretching per day improved arterial compliance in older adults within 4 weeks. Notably, participants also showed reductions in systolic blood pressure without any change in medication. Another study from the University of Saskatchewan in 2021 demonstrated that a daily 30-minute stretching routine for 2 months significantly improved flow-mediated dilation, meaning blood vessels became more responsive to changes in flow, especially in the lower limbs. This matters because it's often the microcirculation that fails first. Not the big arteries, but the small capillaries that bring oxygen to your eyes, your toes, your brain. And when those vessels stiffen, the symptoms are subtle cold hands, lightheadedness, poor sleep, even forgetfulness. A retired piano teacher once told me she felt foggy every morning and needed to sit down after brushing her hair. She began stretching her spine and neck for 5 minutes before breakfast, breathing slowly through her nose. Within a week, she said her fingers felt warmer and her balance steadier. That is the power of microcirculation awakened. If you're wondering how to start, keep it simple. Every morning before breakfast, stand near a wall or sturdy chair. Raise both arms overhead. Inhale slowly through your nose for a count of 4. Hold that breath. Then exhale through your mouth as you reach gently to one side. Feel the ribs expand, the sides open, blood finding new space. Repeat the same movement in the opposite direction. Then roll the shoulders back, breathe again, and slowly rotate your head left and right, easing tension from the neck. No pain, no pressure, just gentle mobility. You're not forcing the body, you're inviting it. If you prefer the evening, that works too. Gentle stretching before bed can improve circulation to the brain and promote deeper sleep, especially when combined with diaphragmatic breathing. There's no race here, no numbers to hit. But over time, this slow and steady practice sends a powerful signal that your blood vessels are not stiff by default. They are waiting for breath, for softness, for space. And every time you stretch and breathe with purpose, you remind your body that flow is not just movement, it's restoration. And restoration is still possible. It's one thing to understand what helps your circulation. It's another to make it part of your life. So let's make this easy. You don't need a gym. You don't need to be perfect. What you need is rhythm. A gentle weekly rhythm that reminds your blood vessels how to open again. Here's how I guide my patients through their first 7 days. Start your morning with breath and space. Before you even leave the bedroom, sit at the edge of the bed. Inhale slowly through your nose. Raise your arms overhead. Exhale through your mouth and roll your shoulders back. 2 or 3 breaths is enough. This is how you tell your body today, we move with purpose. After breakfast, if you feel steady, take a short walk, around the house, out to the mailbox, down the block. If 5 minutes is your max, that's perfect. The goal is not distance, the goal is blood flow. In the afternoon, when stiffness creeps into the lower back or the knees, try a few stretches. A gentle forward fold while sitting, turning your head side to side, slow circles with the ankles while seated. These small movements refresh the microcirculation and bring oxygen back to tired tissue. Twice this week, if you can, sit on a stationary bike for 10 minutes. No rush, no tension, just pedaling. Focus on your breathing and imagine your arteries softening with every round. And at night, just before bed, return to stillness. Stretch your spine while standing near the bed. Inhale as you reach up. Exhale as you fold forward slightly, letting gravity do the work. This simple ritual lowers pressure, clears the mind, and supports overnight circulation to the brain. Some people prefer to walk in the evening when the air is cooler. Others do best in the morning sun. You'll find your own rhythm. What matters most is not when, but how consistently you show up for your body. By the end of this first week, something subtle begins to change. Your legs feel lighter. You fall asleep more easily. Your hands don't tingle as much. That is not coincidence. That is oxygen moving again. And once your body remembers what flow feels like, it wants more of it. So give it that chance. Just for a week. And if that week feels good, turn it into 2. Not because someone told you to move, but because your body asked for it. And this time, you listened. There's something I want you to hear clearly. You are not too old, not too stiff, not too late. Your arteries are not beyond repair. You are still alive, which means your blood is still moving. And if it's moving, it can be guided. It can be restored. No matter your age, your circulatory system still responds. To motion, to breath, to intention. It listens, and when you start to care for it, even gently, it begins to soften, to open, to flow. I've seen it too many times to doubt it. In patients who were 68, 75, even 84 people who thought their best years were gone. But once they started moving again, walking, stretching, breathing, their bodies remembered how to heal. That's what I want you to take away from this. You are not trying to become young again. You are trying to become awake again. Awake to your own circulation, your own rhythm, your own strength. So if you've made it to the end of this video, I thank you. Truly. Because taking time to understand your body, not just medicate it, is a rare act of self-respect. And it tells me something important about you. That you still care. That you still hope. That you're still here, ready to move forward. If this video helped you, even in a small way, I invite you to like it. Share it with someone who might need it more than you know. Leave a comment. Your story might inspire the next person to take their first step. And if you haven't already, subscribe. I'll be here, walking with you, one vessel at a time. I'm Dr. James Porter, and I believe in your blood's ability to flow freely again. Let's keep it moving.